She wants to make a name for herself. And with a golden voice, Lisette Lee seems destined for stardom.
She was a pop star, like Britney Spears.
But she's about to make headlines.
I have a business proposition for all of you.
In a much different way.
It was just like another level of bad.
She'll take drug trafficking to new heights.
This was a very lucrative operation, between $300,000 and $350,000 in pure profit.
And amass a fortune worth killing for.
Is it loaded?
Of course it is.
Los Angeles, California, 2009. It's the land of beauty and excess, where everybody wants to be a somebody. And nobody seems to stand out quite like 28-year-old Lisette Lee.
Lisette always made a big impression. She always made a big entrance. Lisette would come out of the car with gangster rap blaring, her entourage all scurrying around her. It was like right out of a Hollywood blockbuster movie.
And like a Hollywood starlet, Lisette gives a whole new meaning to traveling first class.
Her plane was incredibly luxurious. It looked like a flying yacht from the inside. Very, very fancy.
Because the Lisette party don't stop.
Nothing but the best for someone who seems to be on the highest rung of the social ladder. But Lisette's image of success is all an illusion. Even though Lisette grows up in the area code of the rich and famous, her upbringing is completely grounded. She's raised by a martial arts instructor, known by everyone as Master Lee.
He tried to raise Lisette very firmly and really tried to raise her to have respect, to be a hard worker, and to be a good, productive member of society.
She adores Master Lee. He's her entire world. Until one day, Lisette learns that Master Lee is not her real father. Turns out, she was born out of wedlock in South Korea.
Lisette's true backstory is one that's worthy of a soap opera.
Her biological father is rumored to be a gangster in the Japanese mafia. Her mother is a member of the Samsung family, owners of the Samsung electronics empire.
The Samsung family is the wealthiest and most famous family in all of South Korea.
The family refuses to accept the forbidden relationship. And Lisette.
So it was decided when she was an infant that she would not be associated with the parents at all.
Lisette is sent away to live in America with Master Lee and his wife. Her biological father stays connected to Lisette, however, by sending her money every month for years. Lots of money.
Her father would send her cash payments of as much as $100,000 a month.
But money can't buy the one thing that Lisette wants most: acceptance from her birth family in Korea.
Deep down, she was struggling with a lot of issues of abandonment and rejection.
So Lisette creates a persona that is not only good enough, but better than anyone else around her. A rich heiress and a pop star, adored and admired.
So you're really a singer in Korea?
Yeah. I never told you?
No. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
She would tell people that she was a Harvard graduate, that she had been on the cover of Vogue in Europe.
She said that she had performed at the sort of Asian version of the Video Music Awards, and she was a pop star, like Britney Spears.
I wish you could speak Korean so that we'd understand it.
Her tales of fame abroad are a lie, but her ability to sing is very real. And when she grabs the attention of a Grammy-winning record producer in LA named Bradley Spalter,
Here she is. Lisette, how are you?
Hey.
Good to see you.
It's great to see you too.
it looks like Lisette Lee might actually have a chance to make a legitimate name for herself.
All right. Are you ready to lay one down?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right.
Bradley Spalter took one look at her incredible presence and he said, "This is a star." He thought that he was on to the next big thing.
Wild.
Give me a sigh.
She did love to sing. She felt like that was something that she could do.
Yeah! Yes! Come here. That was fantastic. Oh, my God.
It's a dream come true for Lisette.
I'm gonna make you a star here in the U.S. You're gonna make me a lot of money. Was she not brilliant?
She wanted to be famous. She wanted everybody to know who she was.
And she will be famous. Just not the way she or anyone else expects. Because everything changes one night in 2009.
Lisette was at a party one night, and in walks a guy, and he had a swagger that was as confident as his smile.
What's up, brother? What's up, boss?
His name is David Garrett,
I'm Lisette.
and he's a drug dealer.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Lisette was instantly smitten. And he was just as smitten.
Soon, they're dating. And the drug dealer has much bigger plans for their future together.
My bad boy. How much are you making for this stuff?
I could always make more.
You could?
He explains that $500 of weed bought in LA sells for $1,000 in Ohio.
100% profit.
David Garrett is sounding more and more like Lisette's gangster father. And Daddy's little girl is about to prove that the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. 28-year-old Lisette Lee has a chance to make a name for herself in the music industry. But her road to pop stardom veers off course when her boyfriend, drug dealer David Garrett, tells Lisette about a plan to sell massive loads of marijuana in Ohio.
So, what's the catch?
I just need to find a way to move the weed from here to Ohio.
And Lisette just might have a way.
I know what you need.
Oh, yeah? And what's that?
Me.
She suggests chartering a private jet, which means no security lines and no x-rays to detect drugs.
This is how I travel.
Lisette Lee is ready to claim her birthright.
If she was really the daughter of a gangster, then she was sort of owning it and being a true mafia princess.
With a jet at her disposal, Lisette has the means to transport the pot. But she's going to need an entourage to move all that green gold.
My very trusted friends. I have a business proposition for all of you. I'm asking you to be the founding member.
Lisette reaches out to her inner circle of friends.
This is no small deal.
She said this is the opportunity of a lifetime. It was something that she had always wanted to do, start her own business.
This is very big for me.
But she never tells them what the new business actually is. And surprisingly, no one ever asks.
I trusted that it was a legitimate business and that I was safe because I was with my best friend. I trusted her with everything.
I need to know if you're in or you're out.
And that was the beginning of Team LL, which was Team Lisette Lee.
Team LL is now ready to make their first run. The crew heads to the Van Nuys Airport, which is often used by celebrities because of its small size and anonymity. They load a dozen suitcases filled with marijuana onto the plane.
This was a risky business. This was a very dangerous game they were playing. If they were caught, they would go to jail.
But when they land in Columbus, nobody stops them.
The plan was going perfectly, as well as it possibly could have.
With the drugs on the ground, it's time to make some money.
Once they were in Columbus, there was a separate hotel room for the marijuana. The marijuana would be stashed in that hotel room, and this person would come and remove the marijuana suitcases, and they would come back, and the suitcases would be filled with cash. Then they'd go back to the airport, take the same charter jet flight round trip back to Van Nuys.
Her first deal nets more than $300,000. Over the next several months, Lisette's business takes off.
Lisette's confidence really started going way up. She thought to herself, you know, I can really do this.
Lisette makes runs about every 3 weeks, moving close to 500 pounds of marijuana on each trip. And best of all, no one suspects a thing.
They're operating in plain sight, totally above the radar, but the police have no idea what they're doing, and they're just doing their thing.
Lisette Lee has finally made a name for herself.
She would use the term mafia princess to describe herself. That's how she looked at herself. That was her identity.
Lisette's team respects her, but soon they will also fear her. Lisette Lee has traded in dreams of pop stardom for a career in drug running, moving 500 pounds of weed from LA to Ohio every several weeks. But 4 months into the operation, members of Team LL are finally starting to wonder if Lisette's business venture is on the up and up.
I'm sorry, do you smell that?
It was marijuana. The plane smelled like marijuana. It smelled like I was inside of a blunt. It became obvious what the nature of Lisette's business was, and it was illegal. And I knew that now.
But she's too afraid to leave. And with good reason.
It was at her house one day, and I think she told me to get the keys from the front hallway. So I opened the drawer and I stopped because there was a gun in it. And I just said, is that real? And she said, of course it's real. And she walked up and grabbed it.
Is it loaded?
Of course it is. You never know when a girl's gonna have to use one.
Everyone on Team LL had a healthy fear of Lisette.
They were so caught within her web that they just couldn't get out.
But someone is about to escape. Lisette gets a call from her boyfriend and business partner, David Garrett.
You're leaving me? Why?
David Garrett and Lisette had a falling out.
After years of shielding herself from the pain of rejection, Garrett opens up old wounds.
Well,
and Lisette doesn't like it one bit.
why are you leaving me? Why?
David's departure was really a turning point in Lisette's criminal career, because at that point, it would have made a lot of sense for her to just shut down the operation.
But that is not what happens.
Well, you know what? It's your loss.
Lisette continues the lucrative drug trafficking operation, amassing a multi-million-dollar fortune along the way. She's now the ruler of her own criminal empire. It may not be Samsung, but she seems to be living out of her family's shadow.
It seemed as though she was really coming into her own as a full-fledged drug dealer who is now climbing the ladder.
But her empire is about to crumble.
I knew that at some point that wave would come crashing down.
Got him right there.
I just didn't know when that was going to happen.
All right, guys, move in.
Lisette and her crew are loading up for their 14th trip to Ohio.
Hello. Oh, Miss Lee, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It's going to be flying at 10,000 feet. Weather looks nice and should take about 2 hours.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing my boyfriend again. Moving in with him in Ohio.
It's the same story she's told on several flights before, and airport personnel are suspicious.
Yeah, it's this Asian pop star. I don't know. Something's not right.
These individuals had made approximately 14 similar trips, and there were stories that were told that were the rationale for why they were traveling.
She told me the same story she told me last time. It's the third time now.
And things with this information about the trip were not adding up.
I think it's drugs.
Airport personnel notified the DEA in Los Angeles, which very quickly called the DEA in Ohio to let them know that a very suspicious flight was on its way.
By the time Lisette lands in Columbus 2 hours later, she has no idea that federal agents have the place surrounded.
They were waiting sort of in hiding, just watching what was going on.
Got him right there. Just wait till we get in the car and then we'll pull up on him.
We had a fairly good idea when the plane landed that we were onto something that would turn into a decent investigation.
All right, guys, we're go. Go, 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 go.
Out of the vehicle, step out of the car. Passenger, out of the car.
I saw a wall of DEA agents. And there was a machine gun aimed at my head. And he told me to put my arms in the air and get out of the car. It was just like another level of bad.
But it doesn't faze Lisette one bit.
Lisette stepped out of the car looking very put out, and she said, "What's going on here? I am a model."
What is going on?
Man, we have reason to believe you are involved in possible drug activity. Everyone out.
She's my makeup artist. He's my bodyguard.
Over there with the
this
other
is
officers
ridiculous.
right now.
And all my equipment is back there. My makeup, my clothing. Who do you think you are?
The story was so outlandish and so unusual for what we usually investigate that I guess some of us figured it could actually be true.
Everyone on your stomach, now!
But the jig is up when agents find 500 pounds of shrink-wrapped marijuana bricks in Lisette's luggage, worth $500,000 on the street.
Down, on your stomach. Everybody, hands behind your head. Get down.
In 2011, Lisette pleads guilty to drug charges in court and is sentenced to 6 years behind bars. and all of Lisette's crew end up pleading guilty to various drug charges. Her best friend, Miley Katie, spends a month in prison and another year on house arrest.
I have learned quite a bit in this whole experience. Even though I was lied to, I could have made other decisions that would not have carried these consequences.
But Miley still considers herself lucky.
I think that us getting arrested may have saved my life, and it might have saved Lisette's life too.
A life created to make up for the one she believes she so richly deserved.
I think that's something that she really internalized, and everything that she did in her life was all about furthering her own mystique, enhancing her own sense of self.
Now, instead of passing herself off as an heiress, a pop star, or queen of a drug trafficking empire, Lisette Lee is simply another inmate in federal prison.